should be like, hey guys, it's Colin and Caleb again.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Colin and Caleb again here. Just winging it again.
Yup. Literally no plan. All right.
The plan is no plan.
The plan is no plan. My first question to you, Caleb. How often do you wash your towels?
I'll have to wash my towels. This could be controversial, but honestly, not that often. So let's say the week starts on Sunday. Let's say they're washed and clean already. I will use it Sunday. So I kind of have two towels. I'll use one Sunday and use one Monday, and then I'll just rotate towels throughout the week.
Yeah.
So what does that equal? About 3 to 4 days,
Mhm.
and then I'll switch out towels. So I think four times. What about you?
So you shower 4 times ish, 3 to 4 times, and then wash.
Yep.
I'm doing better now. I'm probably doing the same thing. I have like 7 towels for some reason, and so like I'll just go through like rotation whenever I feel like the towel's dirty. But last year I had about 4 towels. I genuinely don't know if I washed them for like 4 months. I went through 1 towel a month. But in my defense, right, you get in the shower dirty, right? You wash yourself, you clean yourself. I grab my towel after I'm clean, and I dry myself off.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
clean, the towel's clean. The only thing the towel is wet. Whenever you
Facts.
hang it up on the thing, it's no longer wet.
If I'm clean, the towel's clean.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna shout or call out someone here. I lived with Jake Shoemaker last year. My bad, Jake. And I think he only had 2 towels. So I don't know how often those were getting washed, but he only had 2 towels.
That's gross. I can tell you in the track house, I don't know if any of those towels are getting washed. To be completely honest with you.
Well, didn't they use Jessel's towel to clean up the floor? They didn't tell him when he used it.
I had no clue. That's crazy.
That might not be true, but I thought of that.
Sorry, Jessel, if you're talking about this now.
Yeah.
You might want to wash your towel. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I lived in that house for the summer, it was one. So I always brought my towels down from upstairs because, like, one, there wasn't a whole lot of room, and like I was only gonna live there for a month or two, so I was like, all right, whatever. There's 1 or 2 times I completely forgot my towel upstairs, and I'm not gonna like run naked through the house. So I took someone's towel. I was like, which one feels the driest? Which one seems the most clean? I took it. I dried off. I put it back.
Put it back. That's bad in the house because in the woods at apartments. I've definitely showered and then forgot a towel, and then I'm doing the whole naked run real quick. But yeah.
And I just feel like I can't because like I was literally on the opposite side of the house, and so I wasn't gonna like run naked through the house with 7 dudes. Like, and you never know if girlfriends are gonna be there. That's really awkward. So I was like,
not that we don't always run naked anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, that wasn't for the camera.
All right. So, what's next? I would say you have one of the best mentalities just in general when it comes to track. And not just track, but like training, track, and just like everyday life. Give me your thoughts behind that.
Thoughts?
Just explain it a little bit.
Well, so freshman year I came into college thinking that I was the best, which not in a good way, like thinking I should be doing better. And then when I didn't do that well, it really got to my head, and I started like just really doubting myself. And I like workouts. I used to like try hard at workouts, and I kind of would like only give like 90%. It was like I would make it look like I was trying. It's kind of like I was how would you say it? Like I read this in a book once. I was operating in a mode, and inside of uncomfortable, I was operating in a zone of comfort. It's like I just did enough to make it look like I was trying. And then I decided I was just going to jump because I was tired of hurting in the 400. I was like kind of scared of the pain. And then this is going to sound kind of weird, but then junior year, so after COVID, I found Goggins, David Goggins. And then this is going to kind of lead into something else. But I found David Goggins' audiobook, which you guys should check it out. You should check it out if you haven't. But he really has talked about discipline. And I literally stayed up till like 3 a.m. 4 nights in a row and finished it all in one night. Like I would fall asleep to it. But I would, well, not like fall asleep to it, but you know what I mean? And that had his whole mentality shift of like, it doesn't matter how you're feeling. Like every day you got to get after it. Yeah. And then the whole discipline thing, it really took off from there. It's just putting the work in every day. And then finding guys who were like-minded, like Jake, who just showed up on there, you guys. We all started pushing each other. And then it just kind of came down to all of us wanting to get better. So every day we're just pushing, and it doesn't matter. Like we know it's going to hurt. You kind of have to accept the pain. You got to brace for the pain. And I don't know if I'm kind of getting off topic here. But then this is kind of leading into something else. Finding the Goggins, the discipline, is also kind of what got me back into like reading my Bible and stuff,
Yeah.
because I knew that takes a lot of discipline, and that's something I wanted to do more. And yeah, so I feel like that was what was really good for me. I feel like God honestly probably in a way showed me Goggins, which led me back to Jesus, which is weird because Goggins is honestly nowhere near.
Yeah.
Like he's cussing and he's just he's a crazy dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I know something I have struggled with in the past, and it's like I still do, is just reading my Bible. And you kind of touched on that with Goggins led you to the Bible, which who am I to say no? But um, explain your thought process behind that, if that makes sense. Like some things you've done to be consistent in the word.
Consistent. Oh yeah. So, like we said, it does take discipline, especially in the beginning. I'd say, like, it's like in the past, well, you kind of you should read your Bible, so you just kind of read it, but you're not getting anything out of it.
Yep.
And I think something that helps them, like when you just read it to read it, you don't really feel like you want to read it again.
Yeah.
So when I started, so recently at least, when I actually started reading it, I take notes and I highlight, and I'm actually getting something out of it. Which before, when you just read it, I feel like you don't, if you don't go into it with the right like heart posture, you're just reading it, you're not gonna. It doesn't make you want more. So now reading it, I set a time every morning. We go to Pilling at 8, and just being there, and I'm just being ready to actually learn from it and take in. Like I get excited because I know I'm going to get something out of it. As before, when you're just reading it to read it, it makes it harder. But like I said, like having a set time, like a plan, makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I know. One of the things that has helped me a lot is obviously like we're students. We I would hope take notes to a degree in class. And like I would take notes while watching like lectures or sitting through lectures or reading books. And it's like because you do that so you can retain the information so you can remember it and you can look back on it. But whenever I read the Bible, I didn't. And why would you not take notes, want to look back at notes, remember that stuff for the most important book you'll ever read?
That's true.
You don't. So it's like whenever you do that, it's one of those things that's so important and you don't really realize it because it also keeps you engaged. It makes you think whenever you're writing notes. And that's something that's helped me a lot because it went from reading the Bible because I feel like I have to actually learning stuff from it and comprehending.
Yes.
Like that.
And I will say a lot of what held me back from like taking notes and highlighting my Bible is because I want to keep my Bible nice. And that's just, I feel like that was just in my head. Like it doesn't matter. Like I feel like once you actually started highlighting in the Bible, all of a sudden I was like, it just makes things stick out when you go back again. And like, yeah, I don't just like, if you're like listening, don't get caught up in like keeping your Bible nice. Like, yeah.
I know. I don't get jealous of it because that's not the right word. I don't know how to. I almost envy in the good way because it's not like a bad way. Whenever I see someone else's Bible filled with highlights and notes,
Yes.
because it's like you get a lot from that, and like you can also like I open the Bible and I read the Bible, which is again still good. You can still get stuff from it, but if you go back, I have one with margins in it on both sides. So like I can also write notes or key points. I also have a separate book for that where I can go more in depth. But whenever you go back and read it, it's like, oh wow, like I was going through this at this time, and this helped me, or this was really powerful to me then. And you can go through it, and also like I've read it before, gone through it before, where I read one chapter, and then a month later I'll go back and read it. I'm like, wow, I missed this.
Yeah.
How did I miss that? And then it's like it's highlighted in a different color, so it's like
you
can kind of judge of what you've read, like what you have, and how much you can get from it. Kind of shows growth.
Yeah, and that kind of reminded me of David from Avada. He said that story. He read the psalm about leading into green pastures. I don't remember what it is, but he said he's read that so many times, but he felt like God was telling him something. He needs to keep reading it. He said he read it like for multiple days, like over and over, and like he got something out of it again. Like you can keep getting things out of it, which is why I think it's also good to highlight because you're like, I got this last time, and if you pray on it and just keep reading it, there's like so much more to get out of it.
It's one of those things that literally, I don't know why I sounded like that. Literally, the more and more you read it, like you can read one chapter for literally a year, and every single time you read it, something new will stick out if you're actually reading it with the right intentions.
Yeah,
going through it, and that's something that I'm still learning because I'll read it and I'll be like, all right, I'm done, or like I started Acts during the summer, I didn't finish Acts because I'm like, I want to start Acts. Oh, I want to read this book. I want to read this book. I want to read this book. And it's like reading it once isn't just enough. And it's like
Yeah.
you can go through and actually read more. So yeah.
And my
Go
bad.
ahead.
I'll say the amp. I have an amp Bible that really helps,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps on the phone too. But with my in-person Bible, it has like the references. It's like
Yeah.
I'll read my Bible that I actually like to read. I mean, you know what I mean. But then I go check the other Bible and I read through it, and I'll have like then I flip back and see the verses that it's like cross-referencing,
Mm-hmm.
and I just really like that because then I'm getting, instead of just reading one chapter, like it's showing me where it's also coming from in other parts.
I
I go
love
back and
having
forth.
two different translations open because I'll read one translation in the I love NLT.
Yeah.
I read one in NLT that's fairly like straightforward and easy to understand, and then I'll read one in ESV, which is sometimes a little bit harder to understand, but it's saying the same thing, but sometimes it has two different ways to say it. And if ESV confuses you, you can read that same verse in the NLT. It's
Yeah.
like, oh wow, that's what that means. And then like having two translations to kind of complement each other, not contradict each other, really really has helped me.
And I stole that idea from you. And honestly, like it helps a lot because sometimes way some things are phrases is kind of confusing, and it's like because a lot of things can get lost in translation. It's like why did they say it like that? Then you read a different one, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But just because they're different doesn't mean it's like they're not different. They're saying the same thing. It's just how you like interpret it, I guess.
Yeah. So whenever you were talking about your mindset, you mentioned like other people, if that makes sense, and
Yeah.
how important those people are at pushing you. And that's something that I've that has helped me a lot in the past and a lot more recently is whenever I actually am training by myself, it's very easy to get in a bad mindset. Like at times I'll be like hyping myself up when it's completely me by myself.
Yeah.
But I've noticed whenever like I was running, we had a modified workout from you guys. We didn't run 600s because we didn't have the turf. Me and Dayton were like hyping each other up the entire time. Like Coach Cray was asking, he's like, "How you guys feeling?" And Dayton's like, "Good. Cut the rest down, or like let's make this faster."
Yeah.
And like half of it was slightly a joke, but we were also serious because we both know we wanted to get better. We wanted to push each other, and having someone there to train with you that is also serious has helped a lot because it's like you have to keep your mindset the same, one, and two, it's like you have to constantly push yourself.
Yeah.
And just wanted to get your
It's
opinion on that.
that's so true though because we've all had workouts, and in the past that year that I said I was just jumping,
Mm.
we've had I keep talking about books. I read this book called The Positivity Bus. I don't remember the Energy Bus, and it's about energy vampire. Like, don't let people on your bus that are gonna like take your energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the same thing. Like, we've all had those workouts or practices where you show up and there's people that are saying like, I don't want to be here. Like, this is like gonna be way too hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, then why are you here? Like, you can leave. And then when it's the opposite, you show up to practice and everyone's like, man, I'm ready to put the work in, and like they understand it's gonna suck, but they also are like, that's what's gonna get me better.
Exactly.
And it literally is the people you surround yourself with is so important. And I feel like this always gets brought up in a lot of talks, but it is just so important. And just imagine that same workout, instead of you and Dayton pushing each other, imagine if Dayton was like like this. Like this is just
Dude,
so
this is
hard.
awful. Yeah.
Like this, I don't want to do that, or like just hearing I don't want to do this, or I don't want to be here. This is too hard. Literally can bring you down, and that's something like if you hear people saying that, like it helps like call it out, and sometimes they don't even realize they're saying it.
Yeah.
So just like the power of like positivity and like
Mm-hmm.
pushing each other.
And that not only also goes with track, but it also kind of goes with your faith, because it can be very very easy to like almost be around someone, and the next thing you know, you don't have like they talk differently or they like whatever. And having surrounding yourself with a community of believers is so important. I know I've kind of talked a lot to you about this recently of how like in the past, like even like just the group we're around has been, how do I say it, a little bit less like rooted in their faith. Like
Yeah.
we're all kind of coming together around the same time, but how different like the culture and how different it feels is like we are constantly actually building each other up now. We are constantly
Yeah.
like confident in our faith together, and how just better I feel whenever like we're in a community like that, actually pushing each other to get closer to God and like having these good conversations that are actually like building us up and constantly just helping us. And it's like obviously, I'm not to the point like I'm dying on a track, not wanting to continue,
Yeah.
but like where you will pick me up in that case. But
Hmm.
it's like if I'm struggling with something, I know I can still go talk to you
Yes,
or talk
exactly.
to someone, and you'll still help me. And it's kind of in that same sense of the people around you and their mindset will help you in your mindset. Um, that's thought is like
Yeah,
we kind of talked
exactly.
about that earlier. And
We're able to like actually like we have a community we can like talk to and lean on each other with. And then I kind of want to just talk about like a lot of the connections that's been happening lately on the campus. Like I'm going to start with my story a little bit. So I came to college saying I was a Christian, and I really just completely got away from that. I always felt like I was being pulled back to it, and I kept pushing them away, pushing away. And yesterday FCA we just talked about the reckless love song. I lose the 99. I think it's Luke 15 is the lost sheep parable, and that one really is like what honestly how I felt because I kept pushing him away, but he kept coming after me, and just kind of some story on just how like so you and Jessel went that one year went to church once, right?
yeah,
And there was the last day of last
yeah,
day pretty much.
we literally went to GT, was the church that we sometimes go to or we go to. Literally on the last Sunday physically possible before we got both had to move home, and just me and him went whatever. And then it kind of slowly, more and more, we and her like, all right, we need to get more people here. The next,
Yeah,
we started the next school year. Like I was here a little bit early, and he was here a little bit early, and all right, we need to get some more people here. Um, and find like you and Mariah. We had 4 people, and then just more and more people were like started to be interested and just didn't have like a church because it's super easy to get in the rhythm of, especially when you have meets on weekends and then you have to do homework to constantly just be like, okay, I can't go to church today. But like whenever you have a community there, pushing you and again, like, hey, do you
yeah,
want to go to church? It's very easy just to be like, if no one asks you, you're not going to go. But if
yeah.
someone asks you, like, I do want to go to church. So like, yeah, I'll go. And it went from me and Jessel to my freshman year, sophomore year. Speaking of Jessel, his
And Goggins.
yeah, and Goggins, um, going from just the two of us to like 4 to 5 to 10. The next thing you know, we're filling up 3 rows, and it's like
Yeah,
30 people together to go to church, like half our team.
yeah,
And so it's really cool to see, but also like we were just being obedient, and we're like,
yeah.
hey,
And that's the cool thing is all these answered prayers. So I know that you probably were too, but I know Jessel said he was kind of praying that something would happen on the campus.
mm-hmm.
And so that last day that you guys went, and then it was the summer. Like I come back, I kind of become friends with you, like that group, and we all going to church, and then we all know Coach Whitehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So Coach Terry decides that she's not going to come back and coach. She's the jumps coach. If you're listening, don't know that. And my dad had kind of been mentioning Coach Whitehouse a few times, like he's a great coach. And then he's like, you should just see if like Craig would be interested because he's a pole vault coach. He does high jump and he's a great guy. So I give him the information. Come to find out, Whitehouse is going to come here, which Whitehouse coming here brings Corey
Yep.
and Corey had a prayer. He had kind of gave his testimony a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He had 3 years at a community college where he felt like he was alone.
Yep.
And then so in a way, Corey's prayers were being answered because he only came to Millikin because Whitehouse came here and he got that community of believers.
Yep.
And in that community of believers, that really like I think like Corey definitely brings a lot of us together as well.
I agree.
And then that community was another answered prayer from everyone praying from campus. And then from there, it's just like it just keeps going. Like there's just so many answered prayers that have been happening in the connections, and it's just really cool to see.
Hearing like a lot of people give like their testimony or their story or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
and hearing more and more people will be like, yeah, like this is where I'm meant to be. Like God has put me here. It's like God has put you here on Millikin's campus. It's like out of all places in the
yeah,
world, you bring people to Millikin's campus. It's like historic Millikin's campus isn't like the most holy place in the world, and it's
yeah.
like you're bringing all this great group of people
Mm-hmm.
together to worship him and like build a community together on campus. Like why one? Like
Yeah,
also like we'd never need to know why because it's him,
yeah,
but it's like wow, like it's truly special because it's Milliken is one of the last places you would find or you would look for that, and we have such a good community and we have such a good family here,
yeah.
that constantly
It's
push each
awesome.
other, and it's I've kind of like been praying on it and resting on it to the point where there's a reason. I don't necessarily know the reason yet, but there is, and that's something I have to kind of keep praying for and constantly keep
Yeah,
seeking in a way because like I have 2 more years here or two and a half
yeah,
or whatever you want to call it more years here, and we keep growing, we keep multiplying, we keep doing this, and obviously it's not us, it's God
Yeah.
doing it through us. But there's a reason we're here, and it's more than just finding community for us. I think there's a little bit more there, and
It's people are noticing, I think.
I agree.
And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So, did you, because we said no, like, why, like, Millikin for real? Like, did you plan on coming to Millikin? Like, how did you get here?
Oh, interesting story. So my senior year of high school, obviously COVID and all that stuff was just weird. I was a junior when COVID happened, so like my senior year was like most people were in like home at home. My school really didn't care. We were like school in the middle of the cornfield with 100 kids, and we got to the point like we went to school, we had to wear masks and stuff, but all the seasons got mixed up and weird.
Yeah.
I was three sport athlete: football, basketball, track. I cared a lot more about football, to be honest, and kind of just did track. Like I was good at it. I was fast. Um, Season was weird. Track season comes. Didn't have a junior season, so had no real expectations. I was a hurdler, 300 hurdler. Wasn't bad at it. I was
Yeah.
decent, but like
I just can't
we had a
imagine.
lot of studs in our conference, so like it wasn't doing anything crazy. My coach randomly tosses me into 200 for training, for that, and then I show up, get first, and kind of like
Yeah.
I shouldn't have, but like I don't want to say I smoked them because like I kind of did, but like the most humbly way I smoked them.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're 200 runner now." And like there were some meets where he would literally have me run 300 hurdles, the 800s in between, and then run the 200. So it's
Oh
like
wow.
killed me. And
That
then on
is just
top of
random.
4x1 triple jump.
That's high school track for
Yeah,
you.
that's like high school track if you're small school and somewhat decent.
Yeah.
But
True.
did that, and Maroa Forsyth High School, relatively close in the area. We were like redoing their track or redoing their football field, so they had hosted at Millikin. This was in late June, so like really late for like a normal year, but because of COVID, it got pushed back. And late June, I was already like, I'm gonna go to Heartland Community College. I'm just gonna do school there and then transfer probably like ISU, do whatever. I already had been enrolled in classes and like signed up for classes and all that
Oh
stuff,
wow.
and finished my 200, dying, just missed state a little bit. Um, First off, I hated our track. First time running on it, and the curves like 3 times longer than straight. Anyway, lane one, I did not run good.
Yeah, lane one.
Yeah, did not run good, and um, not a sponsor. I'm kidding. And
Let's let it play.
yeah, may as well.
Yeah.
And got to the point where I finished dying, breathing, and Coach Trey just walked up to me. He's like, "So, what are you in for college?" I'm like, "Why is this bald dude talking to me? I'm already going to college somewhere else. Like, not for track. I'm
Yeah,
already
who's
going
this
somewhere else."
dude?
And he's like, "Just schedule a visit. You'll like it." I'm like, fine, I'll schedule a visit. Like, whatever. Don't make state. Go back. Whatever. And then like literally, so my family goes to Maine every single year.
Yeah.
Went to Maine for that summer. And he's like, "All right, let's schedule a call." And so like I'm up there in the middle of the forest, almost no reception, talking to the track, talking to Coach Cray, about track. He's like, "All right, yep." Forcefully made me schedule a visit and apply. Like, all right, whatever. Like maybe showed up, absolutely loved it. My parents were like the entire time like afterwards like, "Yeah, this is where he needs to be," but like
Yeah.
annoyingly enough, they weren't telling me that. They're like, "It's your decision. You need to find out." Like, I went to them 3 times. Like, please help. Talk to me about it. Like,
Tell me.
no, I'm like, whatever. And I remember sitting down in my room. I was like, I was almost forcefully like, like be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like sitting there in my room, and, like stressing on a decision. Like, all right, Millikin it is, whatever. And I get downstairs, tell my parents like, all right, tell my track coach, this track coach.
Yeah.
End up coming. I literally make my decision a week before I had to move in to Millikin.
That's crazy.
So literally, it's like, all right, go to Millikin. All right, we got to go buy stuff for a dorm because I was just going to commute to that. So had to do all that stuff. Very very last minute. Even like first semester, like I know me and Ashlyn talk about it. We didn't have a lot of sprinters in our grade,
Yeah.
and the culture wasn't the best our freshman year. So like we weren't close to anyone else really on like the distance side. Both Loki hated it. Like we're like Loki having no friends at Millikin, whatever. Sophomore year or second semester comes around and it changes completely. But was hating. I'm like, whatever, I'll do track. Doing it, and yeah, just kind of like happened out of nowhere. The background to that is so right before I went to the track meet in Maroa because it got changed to Millikin, obviously, like I said. Um, I was doing a student leadership program thing at my church, and I remember just kind of praying. I'm like, all right, I'm going to college. I really don't know what I want to do. Like, hey, like they wrote down prayer requests on a board, like to like officially write it down, like confess it. I was like, I'm worried about my future. Pray for my future. Literally, like 3 days later, the meet got changed from Maroa to Millikin,
Yeah,
which is like, whenever I like looking at it now, it's like, whoa,
think
like
about all the things
what?
that were happening
Exactly.
to get to just how you ended up.
And it's like at first I was like, didn't think anything about it. Like, all right, whatever. Like they're redoing the track, but looking back, it's like, okay.
Yeah, like
After I got back from Maine, I went to a camp called Breakaway Teen Camp. My
yeah,
pastor there prophesized over me. She didn't know. She basically like leadership. Like you're going to be a leader. Didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, like cool. Like I got prophesized over, whatever. Didn't know what it means. I still don't fully know what it means, but I show up at Millikin. By the end of my freshman year, I'm been a leader for the entire year at FCA.
yeah,
Um, I become the track captain, a captain on the track team as a
yeah.
sophomore. I get an RA job.
That is crazy.
Like, all these
Actually,
things, I'm
I didn't even.
like, hey God, like
As soon as you
leadership,
just,
like
yeah.
what?
As soon as you just said that you prophesized, I was like, then I started thinking that just definitely came true.
So like all these like leadership positions now, I don't know if that's preparing me for more leadership in the future. Don't know.
Yeah,
And then it's like okay, like, and then on top of that, I started like actually taking my faith a lot more seriously because I was in charge of it. Like it wasn't just um, hey Colin, you're going to go to church with your parents because you have to, and not because you have to, because I still was a Christian. I still also was that. Just I wasn't. I guess growing. I was kind of fine with where I was,
yeah,
and going from that to or from at home to here, looking back at it now, it's like okay, I'm definitely meant to be here. Like I'm not here. I'm not
yeah.
here by chance. Like it's planned for me. There's reasons. I also feel like through track and being at Millikin, I feel I'm called to be a coach, track coach to be specific. Don't know what that means to any extent.
Yeah.
At the very least, it's gonna be like a side gig. At the very least, still praying about that. Still don't know, but it's like looking back and there's so much stuff that it's like, yep, Colin, you're meant to be here,
Yeah.
and it's like okay, wow, and I'm sure like during the season I'm in right now, I'll look back at it and there'll be
Yes.
something. It's like that right there. Like this is something that's gonna be important to your walk. Like right now, I might not be able to see it, but
Exactly. In the moment, it's always so hard to see it, and then looking back, like you see all the things that happened to lead you there, and sometimes in the moment you're honestly like, why? Like this has no doesn't matter, no meaning, or like why maybe. And then looking back, you always are like, wow, that's crazy.
and it's so cool to look back at because it's like
Yeah.
I would have never guessed like in my head like after the sectional meet I was talking because the coach kind of talked to me and one of my teammates saw that he's like it'd be really cool to run in college like yeah it'd be kind of cool thinking I would never do it and then next thing you know I'm here and I'm not only running in college like I'm actually competing now
Yeah.
and it's like I'm that so yeah God is good it's crazy um works in ways that you don't understand but so worth it and so good.
That's facts. And I'm just gonna. This is bothering me. Random
Yeah,
videos playing in the background.
I agree. So
Oprah.
a little bit about your future. I know you've stressed and like been like you don't really know what you want to do
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Obviously you have this amazing YouTube channel. Go subscribe if you haven't.
I'm gonna start the vlogs again. You heard it here.
Oh, and so kind of give me your mindset, I guess, behind that of um, not your fears necessarily, because but it's like, what do you see yourself in the future? If you do, if not, it's like, what mindset do you have going into your future? Because I mean, you're a grad student. You have, I'll say, a
Yeah.
fourth or 3/4 of the semester left until you're tossed in the real world. And yeah,
Well, so I went to school, wanted to be a physical, saying I wanted to be a physical therapist. It was good money. I'd be around sports, and then I couldn't make. I was doing way too much. Plus, I didn't really realize I was not enjoying biology class or anything. So I switched to athletic training, and then I was like, this is not, this is not for me. I don't want to be wrapping ankles and massaging people for a long time.
yeah,
Like I want to be around sports. And I was like, I'm gonna change again. I changed to business management, and I'm like, yeah, this seems more my style, at least a little bit. But then as I'm going through it, as I'm going through it, I'm like I don't know what I want to do, and kind of leading up to the graduate, like I didn't know I was going to come back and run another year with at a Millikin or anywhere until halfway through my senior season, and a lot of it started because I didn't know what I wanted to do in the future, and this kind of gives me another year to think about it, and then NBA looks good, and I also get to run track, and just think about how we are talking about all these things connecting, like I also think like being here another year has been so good for me in my walk with Jesus, like just so much has happened in just being here in the summer. Like literally, I don't know. It's just been crazy. Like it all. I think I like coming back for another year because I tried to kind of go to other places and I just never ended up like. It's like I just would never finish the process of applying. I only applied to Millikin.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just like I was supposed to be here again,
Mhm.
and it's just been growing a lot. But yeah, so back to my future. I don't. My mindset kind of is just now. I'm just kind of like I just trying to pray about it, just lean on God, like whatever happens,
Mhm.
happens kind of. But at the same time, like I shouldn't just be doing nothing. So I'm kind of looking
Mhm.
and like just trying to figure it out. I feel like something would like, I feel like if I find something I think I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going to kind of know. And like you said, I feel like I definitely want to be a coach and I feel like I can help that way.
Mhm.
And I don't know I would do soccer, track, basketball. Like I
Mhm.
definitely think I could do those. But the more I'm doing all this business stuff, it's like I don't
Mhm.
really. I was at Midwest Fiber, and I was like, this is not for me. And I'm still honestly figuring it out because I don't want to be in an office.
Mhm.
I think I want to be around people. Like I just really like being around people, and I think that's just how I can use my gifts, I guess, what if that you want to call it that. So yeah, really, I don't know what I'm gonna do in my future. I'm just kind of praying and waiting on that.
Mhm.
And obviously, I like doing the social media stuff. I just got to pick a lane and go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe some online. I'm trying to start like I have like so many like random business ideas, and I just like
Mhm.
start them, but then I get them ready to start. Like I have so many that are like ready to start. I just have to do it, and it's
Mhm.
like yeah,
Yeah. 'Cause I know, especially like with this, plug his to his TikTok on live streams. He's genuinely like a entertainer. Like he just it comes so easy to you, and there's no question in my mind that like something like that, like you would be good at it, and like not saying you're meant for it at all, because like
yeah,
I'm not God, like I don't know what that is, and but you are really really good at it, and like that's just hilarious. Um, but you're generally good at it, and like I know like we kind of talked and we're like let's just do a podcast, and it was almost out of it's like I'm kind of in the same boat. I know I don't want to like sit down and be in a cube all day and
yeah,
whatever. Like I want to be out and active, and kind of almost out of like let's just do something, and like we kind of had the mindset with this podcast of like if nothing happens from it, we have great conversations on this, and we
yeah.
can go back and look at it
Get a
later,
lot of it.
and it's like if it does pick up, and I mean people probably can't make like a living off of just podcast, like
Yeah,
obviously some people
I
can,
mean,
but like
yeah,
it's one of those things, but like, even if it does good, it's like we're still
yeah.
having those conversations, and that's kind of all that matters.
And this is kind of so originally the vlogs started out as me. I wanted to kind of make it about me and like my journey. Like I kind of wanted like not a day in the life, but kind of like it would just be following me. And then I realized who wants to watch me, and I kind of made it about the team and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And once I kind of brought people into it, I was like, this is so much more fun for me because I'm gonna go back and look at this someday and see all my teammates
Mm-hmm.
and my team. It's just so cool thinking my teammates are always asking me like, when's the next vlog coming out? And if it were just following me, I doubt anybody would be like, hey Caleb, when's your next vlog dropping? Unless I'm like some like professional athlete maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But like this way, people want to be in my videos. They're like waiting for the next one to post. And same thing with this podcast. Like these first couple are gonna be just me and you, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited when we actually start bringing
I
in
know.
people because they're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like, when's my episode dropping or when can I get on it? And we're gonna get to know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of our teammates, and
A
it's
little
just
bit
gonna be
more.
really cool. And I think I'm glad we started this. And who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Like we said, it might end up being lame, but
Oh well.
I think it's been
Mm-hmm.
fun already. We've only done
I know.
two, and the first one, yeah, we did talk about poop in our top five restaurants way too long.
Yeah, but that's kind of
But
part of it when we're winging it, and
yeah,
we came in with no plan. We're like we sat down and like, it's kind of awkward,
yeah,
and like it's obvious like whenever we're literally just talking. Like there's a camera, like, there's mics recording us, but like we're literally just talking now, and it's
yeah,
genuinely
it's
it's
cool.
cool, and it's like especially if there's someone else here, like getting to know them more, and just talking about like their faith or their mindset, their sports, just about them, and like us talking too. It's like it's really cool.
And this one has been more serious so far, but we're gonna definitely have some where we're laughing a lot more.
Exactly.
And just we have so many ideas that I think we can use at some point, and it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like yeah. I don't need to talk about all our ideas on here, but
So my next thing, you said vlogs are coming.
yeah.
When's the next vlog?
Well, here's the issue. I didn't really film over summer. I filmed like a bunch of random stuff, so I could create one that's kind of just like it would be. They're already kind of random, but it would be like super random. It would, and I could post that one and just say like, call it like leftover, like last of summer or something. I don't know.
Like highlights or something.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily do the highlights because this year there were so many times where I was like I could film this, but I'm like I haven't even been recording, so I'm not or recording anything else. I'm not going to. But I could also I could just start fresh. Right now, I would like what's today? Saturday or Friday, I could literally just start recording right now, and then it'd be posted by. I could have one by next week at the earliest.
Yeah.
So I might as well. I'm
well.
gonna say give it a week and a half, and the next vlog is out.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep your word to that. I know also like I personally have wanted to get into something like that, and I think the way I'm gonna start is like just create random TikToks. Like we've kind of talked a little bit about it, and you'll see some later.
Yeah.
But I think that's one way that I've kind of wanted to just be creative, if that makes sense. Because it's like I feel like I can't be super creative, and it's like I enjoy doing it too because it's like something you can take pride in and record. Like obviously, like, this is also something I can do that in, but it's like something I can laugh at, like go back and be like, okay, this is hilarious, and other people can hopefully enjoy it. Is some like again, even if just people I know like it, it's fine because
Exactly.
it's funny. I know like we'll enjoy it as a team, and
in the future, looking back, and one thing, the reason I kind of stopped making the vlogs is like I really wanted to like do something differently, kind of like I really got into like those cinematic type videos, not necessarily like movies, but like just higher quality, like just finding ways to like frame a shot and just kind of make it more like just pleasing to the eye to watch. But then at the same time, I like love this. So like I've been trying to find a way where I could like make it more like a documentary kind of and less of like a random. But at the same time, I think I'm just gonna keep pumping out like the videos like this, and then eventually I can kind of start I just figure out as I go, and I can start implementing those different ways of like filming and like so it's not like I want to do it differently. Like I love that, but I think long term I want to start doing like I want to buy a camera and like just kind of do like the short film. I don't know about short film, just like
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I agree. I think you could honestly like have a vlog where like this is it's gonna be. I mean, you can, but like let's be honest, it's not something like I need a sick behind the scenes cinematic video of our steeple mile.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly
like before track meets or before training, like you could like do a part where it's like that, and then like after it, it's like a funny part before it, and then like you can do both, but it's gonna take experimenting and like how to actually do it.
Yeah, and that kind of just made me get an idea. Like I can keep doing like this, but on like maybe on meet days or like I can have a day, maybe not put it in the vlog, but I can have kind of times where it's like, here's a day in my life, and I kind of make it more of like a documentary or cinematic, and it's either part of the vlog or a separate video. But the hard part about I would love to do meet days that way, but I'm competing.
I know.
So like I'm not gonna go around and carry my camera around or set up my camera and like get all the angles and stuff. Like I gotta focus on my own stuff that day too, which is the hard part. But like, yeah, that's like, I think that would. There's just so many. I have so many ideas on meet days, but like I'm not gonna do them because it's gonna not. I'm not gonna be in the right headspace if I'm focusing on.
So in other words, next year just stay around, do it for us.
I have thought about that. If I'm still around, bro, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna try and make like it like a documentary, like following the track team.
That would be cool.
And like it necessarily wouldn't even be I wouldn't even be part of it. I'd just be the guy filming it.
That'd be cool.
And because like the type of my favorite pictures and videos are when people don't know they're kind of being filmed, not like the weird stuff. Like I'm not gonna go watch you through the window, but like when you finish your race and you're celebrating with your teammates, those pictures, like my favorite. Yeah, it's like cool. The in between the race stuff, like you're going like the emotions, like the sadness or the anger, like or the straight joy of just like getting a PR, like the pain on people's faces, like that's my favorite part, and I want to get like just like the real stuff, like not that this isn't like real. But like people are just like in the moment. Those are my favorite types, and it's hard to do that when you're also trying to focus on your own. Like you can't do that really.
Is there anything else we want to talk about?
I think we can keep going if we want.
We definitely can. It's just Now it's all the questions I had for you, and like stuff
Yeah.
I was gonna cover.
Well, I guess I was thinking about this earlier. Like we put Bible verses on our arms. And I
Mhm.
was just gonna ask like what were the Bible for the meets? Like what Bible verses do you put on your arms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my main one, is Colossians 3:17, which is whether you speak or whether you act, do it for the Lord.
Yeah.
Um, because like those are the main two things you do at track meets. You're talking to people, you're encouraging people, and then your actions in running and doing that. And no matter how I want to do it, I want to do it for the Lord. So like if I'm cheering on a teammate, do it respectfully. If I'm cheering on like myself, like if I'm give someone a pep talk beforehand, it's like I don't need to go out there and start dropping f bombs and doing
Yeah.
all these things. Like you can still just whatever you do, when you speak, you act, you run, do it for the Lord, because
Yeah.
then it's like it becomes so much more serious and so much you can get so much more from it whenever you turn your sport into worship and like actually do it for him,
Yeah.
because if you do it for him, it's like it's a lot less about performance and you worry a lot less. It's gonna happen because or it might not even happen. Like it
Mm.
doesn't matter because you're doing it for him.
And a reason I didn't like, I never did it. I didn't do it for a while because I just didn't want to ride on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of crazy. The first time I did it, it was just crazy to me how many times I actually looked at it, and it was like such a good
I
reminder.
know.
And mine was Psalms 3:3, which I should know it. And this is a different version that I use, but I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
read it real quick. It's short. It's but you, O Lord, are a shield for me, my glory, and the one who lifts my head. And that one I think is dope because well, it's literally saying like my God is my glory, and then He keeps my head high.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just think of that like no matter what, like I'm good because with God, like I keep my head high knowing that I got God,
Mm-hmm.
and that one is always a good reminder for me. And so yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a really good verse you had, and it's honestly putting on there such a good reminder.
I've got to the point, like I know I've kind of talked to you about this. I haven't told like a whole lot of people. I want to get it tatted right here. Some people are like, what are for tats? I'm still up in the air, but if I were to get one, I'm gonna get it right here in like the original Greek.
Yeah,
Like
that'd be
in the
sick.
earliest translation, it's in. I mean, it knows who handwriting because it's not Paul's, but it'd be in. It's the earliest. It's like
Yeah,
it's called Papyrus 156 or 123, and it's like the oldest translation, one of the oldest translations of the New Testament we have ever. But it'd be in that exact same handwriting. That's one idea, but also sidetrack. Like it's to the point because there you'll look down and you'll see it. Oh, like if I'm also wearing pants, like you'll be able to see
yeah,
it,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
so it's like having that reminder for me would be like good.
It's like constant. Yeah,
Um, I feel like last night, especially, like I was really like praying and not fasting because I wasn't fasting. But, like I was just really like, spending my time with God, and the word identity came up, and I was like, almost like a self reflective moment where like I was really almost finding my identity in other things to an extent. Like
yeah,
something I've struggled with is like finding my identity in track, where it's like I am a track athlete, but that's not what my identity is. It should be in Christ,
yeah,
and almost it's you'll know like this is anyone who like no like this is not the good mindset to have because it's like if you worship something more than God, God will sometimes take it away. It's like I don't want him to take away track. Like that's like
yeah.
it's like it's bad because
Dude, I
it's
get
so
scared of
backwards.
that
It's like
sometimes.
I was reflecting. I'm like it was like I was been going through like a dangerous prayer thing. It's like take whatever is like not like bring me closer to you. And I'm
Yeah,
like please don't be track. Like oh no.
dude.
Then I was like it won't be tracked because like I am actually starting to take that serious and build that, incorporate that into my faith. Um, but the more and more like identity, and today before I came, like was reading the Bible, spending time with him. Romans 5:8 is I'm saved, but God shows me His love. But God shows His love for us in that while we are still sinners, Christ died for us, and
That's
that is
good.
like finding your identity that you are saved and how um, important that one is. And I literally wrote that down right before I came here in my track Bible verses notes page, and how important that actually is, and how it's like finding your identity that you're saved, not in the sport you do or things
Yeah,
you do or other people.
that's so good. And I've been reading Romans, and literally like the first multiple chapters, basically most of it so far. I'm only on like 10 or 11 chapter 10 or 11,
Mm-hmm.
and it's literally mostly about how you're not saved by your works, just by your faith.
Yeah.
It's not by following the law; it's by
Mm-hmm.
like by your faith, and
Yeah.
it's such a good
Mm-hmm.
reminder. But yeah, that's a good verse. And I had something I was gonna say, but honestly, I forgot now. But Yeah, I'm excited to do the vlogs now.
I know. So, might call that there, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a successful day.
All right. This one was more serious. It was fun,
Mhm.
and I like this one a lot more than the first one.
I agree. This one is a lot more serious.
We'll have definitely some funny stuff. We're gonna have some times where we're gonna pull stuff on the screen, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe like a video coming to our head and like we need to watch this video.
Yeah. So
But
you guys, the listeners, the viewers, whoever is watching, if there is anyone, never know.
give us topics.
Yeah, give us topics you want to talk about, people that you might want to see on here.
Yeah.
Thoughts, etc. Like we actually care about those things, and if there are someone like, hey, you should have this person on, or I want to be on this, let's talk.
Yeah.
We are very, very like we are literally winging it. It's like
yes, exactly.
that's not going to be a problem. So
Yep. I guess the unnamed podcast right now is calling it right now. We're done.
All right, there we go.
All right.
Good.